What is up, everyone? This is BigPowner, and this is the second part of the delving series. How good or bad is it? For this set of data, I went from Delve 100, where we left off on the first episode, to Delve 200. And we're going to look at what that was as far as currency for those, for going from 100 to 200. We're also going to look at the total from the start of delving to making it to 200, and we will look at how profitable or unprofitable it has been so far. For starters, we're going to go ahead and look at the loot. Let me move my screen real quick, so that will let you guys see everything. And go ahead and fix that. Alright, so this is absolutely everything that was picked up in the delve, even stuff I sold. As you can see, there's obviously these don't really count for currency because they're like fractions of something that's a fraction of currency. So I recorded all of my stalking and delves. It took me 116 delves to get to depth 200. I actually went from 99 to 201, so technically we went barely past it. But I wasn't going to go out of the way and hit undesirable nodes to land right on 200. Um, So I have gone ahead and calculated what all of this is worth at current market value. The tabula is being counted as a blessed orb. Any 6 link we can sell for a blessed orb. Because the value of the tabula is so low, it would be it would make no sense to try to sell this as a tabula, because there's so many of them on the market and they're like right at basically the price of a divine orb. Um, so we're obviously not going to mess with that hassle. We would just turn it into a divine orb and then use it. But say you're like on console and they're still more expensive, you could keep that in your calculation. That's why I haven't gone ahead and turned it into a divine orb. So, based on the PC community, because that's what I'm playing on, the total value of all of this is 727 chaos. It took me 116 delves, and I had to stock Soulfight 37 times. So it comes to about, like, for every 3 delves, I have to do 1 map to stock Soulfight at this depth. On average from 100 to 200. Obviously, you can see that it becomes a way bigger factor than it was going from the beginning to Delve 100. And it will continue to increase like this because the prices of delving, as far as our soul fight costs, just continue to go up. So stocking becomes an even bigger and bigger issue that you are going to have to calculate into how much time it is that you are putting into this. If you haven't seen the first episode, I'm not going to use time as a factor because I could go faster than you or I could go slower than you. So this will give you the currency that you can expect. If you hit all the most valuable nodes, you search all of the areas in the dark, which I do. I did an example of how I do it. I check it as I'm running so that I don't have to retrace the map. So if you're capable of doing that, that obviously is going to be the most time efficient. But what does this mean to us as far as how much we are making? So the average earnings per delve for this set of data, for 100 to 200, we made 6.267 chaos per delve. So before we were at from the beginning to the next set, we were around 3 chaos. So as I predicted, the value of our per delve did go up. But it's still not good currency. Being honest, we have gotten into the equivalent monster level of a tier 16 map, so we are at a point that picking up items is going to be valuable. I have been checking items. I haven't found anything worthwhile so far. Of course, only picking up top tier bases. Well, I did find one thing. That's actually where a lot of this chaos came from. I did find one item that I sold, and you know, I added the chaos to the tab. So that's actually a large portion of the chaos orbs that we have. But that is a part of, you know, the earnings. Any item that drops inside of the delve is earnings from doing that delving. So the thing that we really have to look at, because the whole point of this project is to see if there's a breaking point where delve becomes more profitable than mapping or doing blight maps or doing something else. So we can't just look at this data and be like, I'm making 6.267 chaos per delve. We have to look at how much time have we invested and, you know, been losing currency, and then see what all of our efforts is actually going to get us. So from the beginning to delve to depth 200, it has taken us 192 delves. We have collected 980 chaos in combined currency, which equates to 5.1 chaos per delve. So, as I had said before, I didn't want to spend too much time in the early delves, because if I would have, you know, done a lot more delves in the lower delves, it would have weighted this down a lot more. And because I didn't do that, the impact of the 6 chaos per has raised those previous ones by quite a bit. That being said, I also did the same thing with delve 100 to 200, because I'm expecting that it's going to continue to get more profitable. Do I still think that most likely this is not going to be the best way to earn currency? Yes. Could I wind up being wrong? Yes, that is a possibility. But unless it gets better than mapping soon, I would say that it's probably not going to be the best currency farming method for most players, because we have to put in a lot of work where we're not making that great of currency. And this isn't, these calculations per delve are not considering the time that we have to put into stock. Something I will say about the stocking is I did a lot of just stocking on my own because I didn't want to wait for groups. Now I have reached a place where 50 Alex. The heck? Whatever, I guess I listed it. Oopsies. "50 alchemies? Oh, is that like one of my really, really early tabs? Sale? Just regular sale? Morbid. I'm not even seeing what. Oh. Morbid. Oh, I guess I did list it for that. Oh. I ain't gonna disappoint the guy. I mean, I don't know what he's waiting for. That's like the equivalent of like 9 chaos. He's probably like, is this guy really trading me that jewel for 50 chaos, for 50 alchemies? Anyways, I mean, it was sitting there for a long time anyways, so it's, I mean, but I don't want to disappoint someone if I make a mistake, unless I do something like really stupid. I'm normally just going to sell it. So we have to consider that that this is going to be, that there is going to be a lot of stocking involved. So it's going to reach a point where, you know, the amount of time we're spending stocking, like if you get really deep, is going to be like half of your time, or getting pretty close to half the time, because realistically you're going to have to be finding parties. once you reach 3,850 sulfite capacity, you can do the double Nicos and not waste any of it, which is a nice point to get to. I think the upgrade to hit that, the one just before this one's like 1,200 or 1,300, somewhere between there. So hitting that is pretty crucial in the center space of 100 to 200. Hitting that's going to help you a lot, because then you'll be able to do double Nicos, which obviously finding a group takes a good amount of time. Like I said, in this data, it would have actually taken a little bit more stalking, because I only grouped twice. And why did I only group twice? Because I got a lot of Nico missions. And most likely, this is not going to wind up being the thing that I do for farming currency. Like I said, I could be wrong. I have listened to people saying that they're making really good currency doing it. And we're going to find out soon. I only have one more video, and then the next video I will be passing the depth that people are saying they're making really good currency. So I hope that happens. I hope that all this work is not just basically for me to be like, yeah, delving sucks. And I'd like to be making currency. So far, my earnings in this, I've earned a total of 7.656 exalted orbs, which that's less than I normally make in one gaming session on a bad gaming session. So do I want this to get better? So my next 200 or 300 delves, I'm actually making good currency? Of course I do. Even with all the comments, do I definitely still have doubt that that's actually going to happen, because my past experience season after season at sucking? Yes. Realistically, though, it does feel like it's gotten better. I expected the increase to go up. I didn't expect the average to go over double what it was in the previous 100. If it doubles in the next 100, if we see a linear increase in the average currency, that would raise the next 100 delves to around 11 exalts, because we can assume that it's going to take me about the same number of delves playing the same way to go from 200 to 300. So if it continues to scale in the currency linearly, then I would reach a place where my bad days of delving, the currency generated, if I can do 100 delves in one session, which I am getting faster. I told you guys I was rusty. If I could do 116 delves in one gaming session with stalking, it would be over my bad day mapping earnings. So if I get to the point where I get to 400 or 500 and it continues to linearly grow, where I'm consistently getting over 40 exalted orbs in 116 delves, that might be worth it. But then to realistically know if it's better, we're going to have to check to see how much of this time is actually being spent stalking. And if I continue to delve for this long, eventually all of my extra Nicos are going to run out, because what am I spending my time doing? I'll be spending my time in the delve instead of mapping, which these aren't unlimited, and for most people you ain't going to have this many, because you probably haven't done as many maps as me. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have, but in general, most people probably have not done as many maps as me. At this point, with creating a character the last week, and then I haven't played maps for like 4 or 5 days now, people that were close to me are definitely passing me now. But that being said, eventually people out there are going to have to start accounting for the fact that there's going to come a point where you're going to either have to start doing some maps to get those Nicos, or you're going to have to factor in a cost. Which, if I was buying sulfite scarabs, that would have been a huge added cost. If I had to pay a sulfite scarab for every single stock, um, based on me, I mean, only what, 18 of these? Oh wait, no, 6, 3, 12, 12. I don't know. I'd have to do the math on that. But the point is that at a certain point, if this is winds up being the only thing you do, there is going to be an investment cost because you are gonna eventually run out of Nikos. But that's a calculation you guys are gonna have to make because that's kind of based on your own personal Nikos. So if this does turn into one of those videos of delving is crazy, man, just delve all the time, then we're gonna have to factor in the investment cost to actually be able to do that. Which, I think the scarabs are still not that bad. They're only 22 chaos. But if every 3 maps at this point I'm having to buy one of those, that means right now that would take away all of the profits. If for every single one of my stockings I was using a gilded sulfite scarab, I could go with a rusted sulfite scarab at 9 chaos, but that would be taking away half of the profit. So even the cheapest option, um, going into groups and using a sulfite scarab, that would take away half of our earnings, because we're only making 6.3. Well, that's rounded up, 6.3 chaos per delve. So if we're spending 3 chaos every 3 delves, that's going to be a significant decrease. But if you are able to be patient, unlike me, and you're willing to get a group every single time, then you'll be getting 6 of those stocking sessions for the price of 1 Nico or Sulfite Scarab, which that makes it a lot better because then you're essentially getting 18 delves for the price of 1 Scarab. That keeps the cost down because that's only going to be 0.5 off of each incursion, which would put us at 5.8 if we rounded up our earnings, 5.8 chaos per delve. So I hope that this info is helpful for you guys. Obviously, we haven't gotten to the place where we can determine whether delving is the shit or actual shit, but we will find out soon. I am hoping that the curve stays linear and continues to go up by double average earnings every 100 delves that I do, because then we could see some real currency generation, and then we might be able to find a breaking point where my losses turn into profits, which if that happens, then there will be a point that all of you will see that should be a place where you can be like, this is what I'm earning. If I can get to this level of delve, I'm going to have started making more profit. But if I don't reach that point, I will be done with delve forever. Or at least till next season, when someone says delve's crazy. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope that this was entertaining and informative. Peace.